Professor Takaoka? Are you
Hi,
there?
hi. Yeah,
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, you maybe
I can
sit
hear
it over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's start the Q&A session and discussion. So we don't have that much time, maybe it's another 20, 30 minutes. So first of all, I'd like to invite some of the questions from the audience, and also maybe we can ask each other question each other. So may I invite no introduction, but I just go forward. Okay, may I invite some of the questions from the floor? Yeah, just microphone is not there, right? So your microphone is set. Maybe would you?
The camera is there. Or okay. So I'm Dr. Janet Chen from the University of Hong Kong, and actually I'm also dealing with the electronic waste. And my research before was about the electronic waste in mainland China, and I took samples in Guiyu, which is a very famous e-waste recycling site in mainland China, as well as in Taizhou. So my question would address to Professor Zhang first. So regarding your samples, you collected the serum, right? The blood sample, right? So I did my study, and then when I was carrying out my research, I collected the human milk, placenta, as well as hair samples from the e-waste recycling site. So why would you like to collect the serum as a representative sample for dioxins, PCBs, etc.? Thank you.
First of all, the human blood represent directly the contamination of your body, instead of the human milk and the hair. And secondly, actually human hair does not represent the dioxin things quite well. Maybe other compound can be used with a hair sample. But yeah, I think still under the research stage. And human milk, as you know, the human milk has the large lipid, so the dioxin levels can be measured. But I like to monitor the general people, so human milk can be obtained from only women, right? Yeah, so. That's why. Yeah.
So thank you very much, Professor So. I would like to ask you questions about the waste management, because I'm also dealing with the waste management in Hong Kong. So Hong Kong actually is, we'll be launching the waste charging scheme in the probably in next year. So I think for the Hong Kong government, they always use Korea case and as a good example, excellent example, to tell the general public that, okay, Korea is doing a very great job in it. And then, well, what is your advice for the Hong Kong government if we are going to launch the waste charging scheme? So what can we do? What can we tell the general public when dealing with the waste charging? Thank you.
Kind of big questions. Huh? So I might have to go there and then give a talk to the government, maybe Hong Kong government. Yeah, maybe when I started my talk, I just introduced some principles. Okay, we are talking about a lot of policy changes and different the targets or whatever. Those principles are not changing. So yeah, that we have to follow that principles. So reduction first, recycle, and then maybe treatment, but mainly the household waste. It could be waste energy or incineration, and then landfill, and then landfill must be close to zero. Right? So we applied many different policies, something like, as I said, maybe discharging or even we call it 종량제, volume-based tipping system with the concept of a polluter payment. Polluter must be paid somehow based on the amount. So that has been also Professor Lee was talking about. That has been well, implemented in our cases. And also we have two big laws. In the beginning, it was a waste management law, and then recently we put another law, so-called Frame Act for the resource circulation or something. So, yeah, government has to move first with such regulation. So, well, I might, because of the time, I might be telling those points. Yeah. Good questions. Okay, any others? Today, okay, first.
I have two questions. The first for Bonner. In Korea, we doing the SRF, solid liquid fuel policies, but not succeed because of the finding the consumption, the facility, finding facility very difficult because of they don't not agree with the move other places SRF to their plant, the near plant. So that also we learn from the SRF policy from the German. So the German has there is two policy of the mass burning and SRF and burning, and remain we treat for the fermentation, and the remain go to the landfill site because there is some regulation for the organic portion of the landfill, the waste. So that what's the situation now, the competition of the SRF and the mass burning, and how do you expect in the future German's policy and the situation? And the next question is the Professor Dong-Hoon Lee, and you talk about the happiness and incineration, the energy recovery is related in the European country. Why do you, the real relations, that is correlation, what do you think it is mainly, what is the cause of the increase the incineration rate is the country people is more happier than the less incineration company. Do you? I wanted to hearing your opinion about that.
I think you understand that question. Maybe that question goes to the Professor Takaoka. I think you have to answer again. What about the SRF, RDF situation in Japan and Germany?
Okay, so first we get German, yeah, please.
It was very popular.
Yeah, it was very popular, but I just want to pick up the question. What you mentioned? What's the future of Germany? What are we now? What is now the idea? And yeah, and it's okay. I have to. It's a little bit complicated because in Germany we had this landfill ban, and at this moment, or this decision they did before was, I think, because they wanted to have the for renewable energy, the incineration or the waste to energy plants to get more renewable energy. That was the reason for the landfill ban. And the landfill ban, this was one reason. The second reason was that we are really highly populated in Germany, and we didn't have any places for landfilling anymore. It happens that I know in 1985 or so that people have to drive more than 1,000 kilometers to get their waste to a landfill. Well, they drove to Paris, and this was the second reason for this landfill ban and to promote waste to energy plants. And bringing the waste to energy plant into this economic system means that it was maybe not so expensive than to transport 1,000 kilometers, but it was much more expensive than to only to deposit the waste in landfill. Especially when you do not know about what landfilling is in the future, because now we knew that landfilling means that more than 50 years after stopping the landfill, you have still costs. And so this means that with the waste to energy plants, the prices for deposit waste getting higher, and this is a really good idea for recycling to make lower prices than incineration. And this is actually the situation was in 2000, 2005, 2010. And after this, it's very complicated because our people in the ministry knew all this and knew about the advantages because of the climate gas, and even they have a good role in the European Union. They tell all the other members from the European Union, hey, let's see what we have done. This is good for environmental. Please do it for yourself. They told it to Bulgaria, to Hungary, to Czech Republic, and all these countries. And I think it was a little bit complicated because they do not want to do like Germany wants. And you see that the European Union is a very is an idea about to become freedom in this area. And though waste is not so important, it's to keep the team, to keep the countries together. It's much more important than how they manage waste. And though they hold back with this idea reducing the landfilling, and though it's necessary to get a new idea, we have to get a new idea in the European Union, which means now is the New Deal. And the New Deal means it's very, very important and very, very good. But it's to tell all the member countries to reduce, to change their products and to change their behavior and to reduce the mass of waste. I appreciate that this is very good, but this will not work. Maybe in 20 years this will work, but not now. And the IPCC says we have to act now. And so I think we have in Germany, in Europe, maybe I can say it's like a combat against recycling, not landfilling. Landfilling is a way between recycling and waste to energy. And I don't know why, but they do not want to think. It's just a fight, and we have to bring in more information. We have to understand the other people, and this is actually the reality in Europe and even in Germany, because the EU taxonomy, if you know about this, is something like a financial ban of waste to energy plants. And we have to argument against this. We have to tell, but it's very complicated. What is the future? So RDF, or this is just on a real low level, whether which technology is better or not. I think it's not that important, but I think it's the whole discussion between recycling and waste to energy is on a higher level, which is more important.
Okay, can you understand Dr. Takaoka?
Okay, yeah.
You may answer on, I think
Ja-
even in Japan, one time it was SRF, RDF was popular.
Yeah.
But I don't know the situation now, and also
Yeah.
any kind of comparison between
Yeah.
RDF and incinerators.
Yeah. So can I explain that the Japanese situation and my view? Okay. Yeah. So this year, so resource circulation policy for the plastics just implemented. So many local government start to collect the packaged plastic waste and also non-packaging plastic waste. So maybe in the near future, so local government collect more and more plastics, but I think that maybe near future, so we can still use that so RDF and RPF in the industry because as you know, so Ukraine situation and etc. So materials and also fossil fuel also prices are increasing. So for example, cement industry and other chemical industry want to use that RDF instead of the heavy oil or coal and etc. So maybe the demand of the RDF and the RPF is still constant, I think. Yeah, but so after 2030 and so a little bit for futures, maybe so situation is also changing, I think, and also recycling more and more. So I think a little bit the percentage of the incineration it will decreasing. I think that is just my view.
Okay, that's good. That's because of you have a high rate of incineration, so that's why it might be decreasing.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Maybe we'll answer. Yeah, the other one.
As I know, Korea and the European Union is completely different for the waste industry. In European country is not one in German. The 31 countries in European country, they open the market. So they have a scale economy in waste management. So they are happy with the waste industry. But in Korea, we have only small and medium business. And also we have only strong government policy. They give some subsidy only for the waste treatment role, not for the multi-functional waste management facility. It means the old type the incinerator. Now the decommission, they all destroyed all the old type of the waste, the incinerator in European country, also in Japan. In Japan, they have about 1,200 incinerator before, but now they reduced almost 1,010. They reached almost 100 incinerator because they changed the old type and they changed the waste energy facilities increased by subsidy of the government. They have also their own market capacity. I mean, they have 1,000 incinerator, they changed every year, maybe 50 incinerator, new incinerator is produced. But in Korea, totally 50 incinerator. So we can no business in Korea for incinerator makers. So this waste industry is not so happy for. So we cannot manage our business or people. So very completely different from European country and EU and Japan. Japan also gives subsidy from the government to the local government as a subsidy, but they have lots of budget for support to the such kind of. But in Korea, small size incinerator and few incinerator only working for the incinerator. So we cannot make comparison with such both of the country, European Union and also Japan. Japan has only one country, but they have lots of incinerator. They have a business, but in Korea, no business. So that's why the government must change their thinking for the waste energy for more luxurious type of incinerator, because the people like to live near the incinerator, like some new waste energy facility in a European country, Copenhagen and some other place. They support lots of fund to such kind of incinerator. But in Korea, the government don't like to give such kind of subsidy. Too small. I mean, every local government have to make their plan for more good incinerator for their residents. But the government thinking is not such kind of. There is no such kind of thinking. So I like to ask you also. You also the officer in the government. So you was. But I like to give some suggestion to the government, also to the local government also. Incineration is not only optional function, optional facility. It is an essential facility. If such kind of facility is essential, the government more money, give them more money, and make the luxurious community facilities. So like, okay, that's the only way to make happy. Okay, the people make happy. Sorry.
Thank you very much. I really enjoyed the presentations today. I was in the other room to present my research, but I saw the two presentation from Professor Zhang and Professor Lee. I really enjoyed it. Their insight and their good data and really to understand how we need to go further. And I live in Daejeon, and I was born in Jeju. So Jeju has a fantastic 500 incinerator recently constructed about 2 or 3 years ago, and it's up and running. And Daejeon also we have a good large landfill space and incinerator 400 a ton, and we have only 1.5 million, but the Seoul is 10 million mega city. So my question is, I want to hear from Professor Lee. What other? I totally agree with your suggestion we need more modernized, more modern, and more like luxurious treatment facility. I totally agree with that, but it will take some time. And then public money should be invested. We can't just private company and coming in and then do it. So a lot of money should be invested by the Seoul government. I totally agree with that. But based on current situations, a lot of local residents do not like to construct incineration facility nearby residential area. So what are the short-term like suggestion from less than 5 years, or what is the like a feasible solution? Okay, let's make a big and modernize incineration. So that's the one solution within 5 years. I think that one, but still there's a mega city. We need about I think at least 2 or 3 incinerator for the city of Seoul area. Even food waste, they only treat about 20% of food waste, but the rest of 70 or 80% going into outside of the Seoul area for food waste recycling, as you know. So short term and long term. What about like a mechanical treatment facility? Is it a good one of the parts, one of the solution to solve like a pre-treatment processing facility? What do you think about your opinion? And my second maybe comment, not a question. Professor Zhang told us that there is a dramatic decrease of dioxin, and there's not a very specific health risk concern. And but I think risk communication is very important, because a lot of Seoul citizens do not like, oh, this is a very toxic plant, and then so how are we gonna communicate with the citizen in terms of health risk, and what are the recommendations from Professor Zhang? So I have 2 questions. Thank you.
First, okay. Actually, as I explained in Korea, also in Seoul, we have lost decades for solid waste management policy. The data said no policy. So we lost 10 years, but 5 years short-term suggestion, but we lost 10, so 15 years ago, we have to make such kind of discussion first. So, I mean, right currently, I don't have any solution, such kind of short-term suggestion. So I think you need more money because of the short-term, okay? Time is money, okay? So you need more money. You have to pay more money. In case of long-term, we have some time to change the public attitude, okay? We have time, but 5 years, no time. So you have to pay more money. There is a short-term suggestion. Okay. I mean, so that is the first answer. And also the mechanical treatment, completely different from German technology, and Korea is different. The Ministry of Environment, the officemen, they make some wrong choice for the mechanical treatment.
the only one technology is not can solve the method. The mechanical and biological treatment combined, and then it's connected to the chemical incineration, such kind of. So it's a totally process, not only one process. So they said the mechanical, biological pre-treatment, that is also wrong concept, because that is not the pre-treatment. That is also such kind of process is connected to the next step. So recently I gave some lecture to the student, and also some in the presentation in the conference. Recently I suggest some bio-drying system. It's also very useful for bio-drying MBT is very useful and very combustible technology. Now the German have many placed, as I know. So now I research about the bio-drying technology. So only bio-drying technology is not cannot solve the total problem. It's combined. Then when you treat the mixed waste, you need to separate. Then some technology must be used. Sure.
First of all, I'm sorry, my English is not good enough to express my own thought. And also, I would not accept the invitation if I knew that I'm a panel in English. Yeah. So anyway, as you know, I have been served as a president of the National Institute of the Matter Research for 3 years. Before that, I used to be an advisor to resident and kind of mediator between the resident and the government people. So I knew the problems, why the communication is so poor and impossible. Yeah, I think. Yeah, and there are many reasons. For example, I agree with the Professor Lee almost everything, but I heard from one people who traveled to Europe together to see the new incinerator facilities. He said that I don't want that kind of beautiful incinerator. I want to hide my incinerator somewhere, not visible. Because, yeah, maybe I will be asked, what do you have in your apartment? So park or whatever, not incinerator. So especially in Seoul, the incinerator, they don't actually care about dioxin and pollution, but the existence of the incinerator will reduce the cost of the value of the apartment. That's the main point in Seoul. So I don't know, it can be really effective to build very luxury, visible, beautiful incinerator in my apartment area. Yeah, so this endless discussion. And secondly, I'd like to ask one question. I'm not a specialist in, my major is not in waste, just chemicals and health and monitoring. You talk about the portions of the landfill and incineration and recyclers, right? Especially recycling is very important. But I really doubt the data of the recycling. What's the definition of recycling? So in the real situation, many recycled products are going to somewhere else. Illegal dumping or incineration, I don't know. So that kind of data is very important, I know that, but statistically, it has a very large uncertainties. So that should be fixed first, okay? That's my own personal opinion as a non-specialist.
That's a problem. Yeah, I think, yeah, the government is talking on that. So the still part of the energy recovery is under recycling. So that should be excluded from the recycling. That they are working now. So maybe, yeah.
Well, this belongs together because as a statistic in Germany, we did the statistic that maybe I came to the point, what is RDF, and because why is RDF so important? When you have a recycling plant or a mechanical treatment plant, you can have a good fraction you can sell to the fabrics, but you have some fraction which is not possible for material recycling. So you have to give it to industry as RDF maybe. And it was half a year ago I asked someone, operator of such a recycling plant, hey, how many money do you get when you sell your RDF fraction? And he answered me, oh, I get no money. I have a wide range between what I have to pay. I have the range between $40 per ton and $140 per ton. But this is when he sells this to the industry as RDF, this is thermal recovery. And when he decided maybe for 10, not 40, not 140, for 10 or $20 to export it to Asia, today it's Turkey or Bulgaria, this is a material recovery. And this is totally wrong. And the European Union said us we have to change this. So we do not have actually more than 60%. I hope when we have 50%. And so it's very, very necessary if you have maybe a private company who has to deal with all these fractions, or you have a municipality waste to energy plant who is for sure thinking about to make a pre-treatment for bulky waste or pre-treatment for organic waste. And though it's very different, it might be a little bit more expensive, but let me say it in these words. In Germany, the people are now being afraid to freeze in the winter because of the crisis of the price of the Russian-Ukrainian war, but not those who are district heating.
Yeah, we have a lot of, the talks, needs in the future. So I think I have to conclude the session. Anyway, thank you for, all the speakers for valuable speech. And also, I think we may recognize the WT, actually energy recovery from the waste is essential. It has to go. Also, the Korean governments declared, okay, we like to landfill ban or no direct landfill in the near future. So that's the right way to go. So I think most of the discussion and speech today will help to the, of course, the city of Seoul and also other, the cities in the country, to help go forward to utilize the waste energy options in the future. Yeah, in Hong Kong too. Okay. Okay. Yeah, thank you very much for the speakers, and we'll conclude the session. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Professor
Thank
Nakaoka.
you.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, I enjoyed that discussion.
Thank you.
Thank you.